Welcome everyone to Mother Russia, more specifically, welcome here to St. Petersburg, where we shall be taking on Paris Saint-Germain here in the Champions League final. But we was rather lucky to even make it here to Russia. First of all, we took on Liverpool in what was a close two-leg tie in which Gnabry went and got injured. Things then got even more difficult as we took on Manchester City and we took on a second injury as Eden Hazard got injured in that one as well. So that was our rough Champions League journey here to the final. Hopefully things get a little easier as we take on our future striker, and that of course is Kylian Mbappe. Okay, so the team sheet is out, and one of our injured stars is back. Yes, Gnabry is back in the lineup. Unfortunately, of course, Eden Hazard still has his injury, but Gnabry has made his way back into the team finally. I think this might be his first full game back, in fact, since getting that injury against Liverpool. So hopefully he can bounce back here today. Now, in terms of the team talk, well, we're going for a punch fists mentality, I think. These fans have been fantastic for us all year. They are the ones who really pay our wages. Go out there and win this for them. Exactly. Go out there and win it for you fine ladies and gents watching. That didn't go great with the team. They didn't particularly like it. Everyone is composed and it's made Casemiro a little bit aggressive. Don't know why, but it has. So that is the team talk. As you can see, Paris Saint-Germain has currently got a 5-win streak going. They are, of course, a front three of Mbappe, Neymar, and, of course, Messi. We, of course, have Gnabry, Martial, and Koeman up front. But who is going to win this one here today? It's going to be a very big battle. Hopefully we can come out on top. And we are going to change this match stats bit over here. We don't particularly need to see if it's raining or not. So we shall put their formation on, see if they tweak anything as the game goes on, and see if any particular players are having a rough one. We can have a little look how they are getting on. But first of all, Neymar is going to whip one in here on the 10th minute. Lovely block though, as Mbappe tries to put it in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, and a beautiful save as well. In fact, it wasn't a save, it went wide, thankfully. So, they don't get a corner. And we have 4 wasted shots thus far, and they have 3. Thankfully, our 5th one did go on target, but we do need to do a little bit more with the ball. Now, Martial has taken a knock, and Jovic is the suggested replacement for him. But considering it's on the 30th minute, I'm going to give him a bit longer, give him at least till half-time. Then we'll probably take him off. As you can see, 6.8, he's not having a bad game. Gnabry, however, on 6.3 is. So, Gnabry, probably going to go up front, probably going to move him up front, bring on a left midfielder, probably Junior, otherwise known as Vinny. And yeah, Koeman's also having a bad time on a 6.4, we've got Cruz on a 6.5, a lot of players who need to pick things up going forward. But right now, fans have been great for us. That didn't work for us at the start. So you know what? We're going to point our finger. We're going to be a bit more aggressive with the team. If we can get a goal... No, we need more possession in the second half. I'm disappointed thus far because I am. That was rather dismal. We had about 30% possession, which is awful considering we're here in the Champions League final. We're supposed to be the best 2 teams on the planet battling it out, and we are not showing that at the moment. So we are going to bring on Junior for Martial. And as you can see, we are going to sort it by players struggling. Gnabry is the worst one at the moment on 6.3. And Martial was one of our better players. So hopefully Gnabry can go up there and actually do a decent job, and Vinny can come and be a pretty good replacement on that left-hand side. Gnabry right now, though, has just gone and slipped to a 6.2. He's now bouncing between a 6.2 and a 6.3, so that's not a good sign going forward. But there is quite a few players with him on a 6.3, including Hummels and Alaba, as well as Carvajal. So a lot of players are struggling, and we've already got up to the 73rd minute. So the question is, who do we take off? Koeman is a bit tired and is on a 6.5. So Kingsley shall be going off. Although he's a very good player, we should take him off. He's a bit tired, so we're going to bring off Kingsley. I want to keep Gnabry on. If this goes to penalties, I would rather have Gnabry on than probably Jovic. I'm not sure how they are on penalty stats, but I'm assuming Gnabry is probably better on his penalty stats. So let's have a little look at that. Penalty taking 10. Okay, maybe Jovic's better. He's 10 on that, and what is his composure? 14. So 10 and 14 compared to penalty taking of 11 and a composure of 15. So Jovic is actually going to be a better choice for penalties. So Gnabry, you can get off the pitch, my friend. In terms of other substitutes now, who do we have struggling? Hummels is having a rough game. Hummels, how are you for your penalty taking ability? You're 11 and 17. So you're a pretty decent penalty taker. I don't think we've got anyone better as a replacement at your position. Carvajal, how are you at your penalties? Well, you are a 9 and a 13 on your composure compared to Vasquez, who is 12 and 11. Okay, so 3 better, but 2 less. So 1 better overall. Vasquez, I guess, can come on for Carvajal. That works out. We then... Tues is having a rough one, and we also have Asensio. Actually, they're not having a rough one, they're just a bit tired, them two. Really, Hummels and Alaba, we need to pick things up. Alaba, how are you compared to Mendy? That is the real question. He's currently a 14 and a 16. I think that's going to beat Mendy. Mendy is 7. Yes, a 7 and 13. So, in terms of getting our better penalty takers on, probably taking Alaba off for Mendy, not the greatest of ideas. So, forward planning. Got a forward plan, ladies and gents. We've got to get ready in case we do need to take penalties, because at the moment it looks like both sides are struggling in front of goal. They have 1 shot on target out of 10. We are heading into extra time, ladies and gents, as we've had very limited highlights here today. Thankfully, this isn't the only thing we're going to cover in this episode. Of course, we have the season review, but these fans have been fantastic. So you know what? We're going to pump fists. These fans have been fantastic. Actually, no. Time for everyone to dig deep. Dig deep, lads. Dig deep into those pockets that are currently full of cash. Matt Hummels, currently on a 6.1, really does need to do a lot better. As you can see, they've moved Mbappe up front and Neymar out to the wing. Messi is also having a rough game, as well as Mbappe and a few others. Now, that's the first half of extra time over. Asensio is a little bit on the tired side. Maybe we take Asensio off. We are actually going to look at that. Asensio, in terms of penalties, is a 14 and a 14 on his composure, compared to Modric, who is a 14 and an 18 on composure. Okay, so we'll put fitter Modric on. He's both fitter and slightly better in terms of his composure. The injury to Gareth Bale is not going to help us, though. So, Rodrigo, how good are you at penalties? A 12 and a 12. Compared to an injured Bale, we've got to keep in mind he's injured. 13 and 15. So he is slightly better. But he does have a knock. What is your injury exactly, Bale? A potential foot injury. Considering it's orange, it's probably something like a bruise. And if he manages to miss a penalty because his foot is bruised, yeah, I'm not going to be amused. Considering he's getting like 500,000 a week, I would not be amused if that is the reason he misses a penalty. But right now, we could possibly not even go to penalties, as PSG has a highlight here on the 117th minute, heading towards the 118th. We, of course, play into the 120 mark, and then it would be penalties. Lovely ball by Messi to Mbappe, though. Woosa. Woosa. We finally get a highlight, and it's Messi playing it over our defence to our striker, who is going to be coming at the end of the season. Made a beautiful run, and it's nice to see him finish like that. Unfortunately, we just don't want it to be against us in this moment. Now, we do have a highlight. I'm getting ready to pause it, of course, for when this highlight is over. But Bale will play it straight up to Jovic. Can he get us a quick equaliser? Come on, Jovic. Oh, my friend. That was an opportunity. I think the game is pretty much over at this point. We're going to go very attacking. We are going to demand more, and we are going to pray, because this is rather disappointing. But Looks like we have lost this one in the worst possible fashion. End of extra time, both teams playing absolutely terrible. Neither of us deserve to really win this one, but fortunate for them, they had Mbappe and we did not. We will just have to wait till next season when we will of course have Mbappe and they shall not. But it is of course time for our season review, so I'll see you fine folks over there in just a second. Finally, ladies and gents, the season review is upon us, and as you can see, although we choked that final of the Champions League, we did manage to pick up a double. Yes, we won the league and the Spanish Super Cup. But how did our new arrivals get on? Well, the best new arrival was actually Alaba, one which I didn't bring in and was already here. He of course comes from FC Bayern. He had 45 appearances, 4 as a substitute, 2 goals and 4 assists, getting him an average rating of a 7.04. We then have Coman, who I of course spent quite a bit loaning in, 7.5 million. In fact, he had 39 games, free as a sub, 9 goals, 11 assists and 7.03. He was a vital member of this team for the season and a player I wish I could have brought in. I tried signing him on a permanent basis. Unfortunately, his agent insisted on him playing on the left hand side and playing as an inverted winger. I don't want to sign him as an inverted winger, so going forward I'll try and get him again probably for this save and playing it going forward, but I don't know what's going to go on with that whole winger situation. Like I said, I'm going to still play this in my own personal time. I'll probably put stuff on Twitter, but it doesn't look like Coman is going to be the player for us. In terms of Hummels, he came in for 26 million. He had a great season, 6.89. He had some big moments, some bullet headers coming up from corners. He got 8 goals, in fact, and 1 assist in his 45 appearances and 7 as a substitute. We then have Gnabry, again, a third player coming in from Bayern, this time for 59 million. He came in basically because Benzema gave us the money to actually do this transfer, and it was a pretty decent transfer, a 6.87. We of course got rid of Benzema because we do have Mbappe coming in, so it did allow us to strengthen on the wing, pay 59 million to get Gnabry in, 5 goals and an assist in those 13 games and 4 as a substitute. I think he'll score quite a few more when he does get a chance to have a full season, and I think that is a decent output for the amount of games he got. Now, Martial, not the greatest of transfers to be honest, but he was great cover. He was great cover before we had Benzema leave, and he was great cover after Benzema left. So 10 goals from him and 6 assists. I can't complain too much in those 26 games and 16 as a sub. Camavinga, again, another transfer I wasn't involved in, but 26.5 million. He's a decent player for the future. Did get himself 3 assists. Unfortunately, didn't get himself a goal, but he is building going forward. Then, as you can see, our staff brought in a bunch of random players for the B team and the youth team, so I'm not going to go over any of those, but those are the other players who were brought in. Now, in terms of the season review, as you can see, we won the league in the end by a solid 11-point gap on Barcelona. Now, second down to about that 8th place spot, shuffled around quite a bit. Barcelona was struggling, didn't even look like they was even going to get in Europe at one point, but still managed to finish second. Villarreal, who had that second place spot for a long time, slipped down to 3rd, 4th, bounced back up to 3rd and settled there in the end, and then Valencia getting that final Champions League spot. They managed to work their way up to 2nd before Barcelona went on their search. Valencia went on theirs, they took over Villarreal's spot. It was them, then Villarreal, and then Barcelona came out of nowhere as the pair of them dropped off. In terms of us, those expected to win the league, and we did just that. We also had a 91% average attendance. Our best player was Jovic with 11 goals in terms of top goal scorer, and as you can see on the right hand side, this is how our games went. I'm of course not going to go through each and every one of these, but games like Cadiz, where we lost 1-0, rather disappointing. We had a few draws in there. This was a rough patch. Atletico, Sevilla and Espanyol, all draws, 0-0, 2-2, 1-1. That was not a fun patch. In fact, if we go back here, Atletico Pamplona, who finished 19th, by the way, drew to them 1-1 at home. Then we went away and lost 3-2 to Real San Sebastian, won 3-0 against Elche, and then we had those 3 draws. That's not a good patch at all. And then we had Camp Granada, where we drew 1-1 at home, 3-1 there. Yeah, there was some interesting games. Levante was a fun one with 3-3, but we're not going to rant on about that too much. How did we get on in the Champions League? Well, as you saw, we got to the final and we was expected to only get as far as the quarters. Junior, with his 5 goals, makes him our top goal scorer in that one. There was a couple of big games which we had. Slavia Prague 5-0. That was an amazing victory. Unfortunately, though, we had some rough ones. Leipzig 3-1 away. We shouldn't really be losing. Man City 2-1 away. That one's acceptable. And PSG losing on the 118th minute to Mbappe. That is a tough one. That one still stings. But that was earlier in the episode, so of course it still stings. But I think we did better than expected, so that's not too bad. In terms of the Spanish Cup, minimum expectation of reach the final was disappointing in this one. We only reached the semis, gets us a C- rating on that one. We lost to Villarreal, which was a rather disappointing way to go out. 3-0 and 2-0, but I believe we bounced back and beat them in the league, so that made me feel a little bit better about those results. Then in terms of the Spanish Cup, we won it, which was nice. They didn't care. The board literally didn't care about that competition. Alaba, with his 1 goal, though, had a solid time. Atletico Madrid beat them 1-0. Barcelona 1-0. A nice, simple victory in that. Now, our biggest win of the season was that Slavia Prague game. 5 goals. 4 of them, in fact, for Benzema and 1 for Eden Hazard. We then have the match to remember, which was the Valencia game. That had 2 for Junior, 1 for Martial, and 1 for Hummels, which most likely was a bullet header if I remember correctly. And then we have a 3-0 win against Alaves, where we had our goal of the season. That goes to Alaba, in fact, for his free kick from 28 metres. But you know what? I don't think that was an episode, so let's hop into this one and let's have a little look at that. Okay, so as you can see, the effort was a curled shot into that upper left corner. Beautiful shot from Alaba in that one, and a nice way to get us, in fact, yeah, that was to get us off the mark, 0-0, and he scores a beautiful goal like that. Yes, it's against Alves, and we should probably be beating them regardless, but Alaba doing it in style, kicking things off greatly. Now, in terms of the finance, this is a rough one. As you can see, there's a lot of green on this page, but we are in debt. A lot of debt. I think we're in about 100 million in debt in the bank, and yet next season's transfer budget I have at least 62 million. So I don't know what we're doing with our money, but things are a little interesting on that front. As you can see, though, no new sponsorship deals. Our annual revenue, well, 157 million in sponsorship, 50 million from broadcasting, 14.9 from corporate, 96.7 from competition prize money, including about 30 million from being in that Champions League final. I think we got 31.5 due to our coefficient, and then a 2.42 on match day commercial and retail. Now, in terms of merchandise, 49.72 million total sales. Non-domestic was 16.37 million. 1,113,971 shirts have been sold, and the top players for that were Modric, Gnabry, Tues, Hazard, and Jovic. So Gnabry, in terms of merchandise, was a pretty darn good idea. And yes, our best team according to the game is pretty much what I've been using. Casemiro, yeah. Besides the fact Asensio's made it in and not Hazard, and Junior instead of Gnabry, that is pretty much the team I've been using. Oh, and Jovic instead of Martial, but I think Jovic going forward, pretty decent up front. Unfortunate for him, though, he's going to have to play alongside Mbappe, or at least be his backup. Now, in terms of accolades, well, manager awards, I got the Spanish First Division Manager of the Month for August, October and December. I did the trio, and then I got the Spanish League Manager of the Year. We then have the Player Awards. Well, your fan player of the year this year is Cruz at 32 years of age. Young player of the season goes to Militao. We then have the signing of the season going to Gnabry. We then have the goal of the season, which was Alaba, which we've just seen, of course. Top goal scorer goes to Jovic with 16 goals. Most assists, Tues with 13. Tues again got the most player of the matches with 6. Courtois with a 7.1 is our best average rating. Best passer was Camavinga with his 51 per 90, which is nice to see. Competition awards, we unfortunately didn't get any of those. Record breakers, well, we got Cruz. He got the most assists by a player in a season at 13. Most clean sheets in a season, Courtois with 31. Most player of the match awards, Cruz with 6. And the worst discipline, Casemiro. I don't know how he's valued as high as he is. 19 yellow cards and 3 red cards. That guy was a pain in the backside. He was a pain in the backside. We permanently had a central midfielder missing. I cannot wait to sell him. I'm personally looking to sell him straight away. Pretty much as soon as I finish this video, he's probably going on the market. I'll have to be honest. Because he has been an irritating player to have in the team with the amount of times he's got himself sent off in really stupid situations, diving into the back of players with their backs turned. I just don't see why he's done it. But that is the conclusion of our season. As you can see, it's been a rather good one, besides, of course, this final game. I, of course, thank you all for joining us on this Real Madrid journey. Hopefully you join us for the full journey coming up next week, where we, of course, are kicking our new journey off at an unknown club. Well, unknown to you. I already know where we are going, and it's going to be a fun one. So I hope you join us on that. I hope you all have a lovely night, and goodbye.